So welcome to the April PTO meeting at Meadowbrook. We, in our last few meetings, haven't really gone round robin to introduce ourselves, but I will introduce myself. And if you feel so inclined, you can either put it in the chat or pop unmute and say who you are. So I'm Erin Plash. I'm one of the co-presidents of the PTO with Stacy and Anderson, and I have a 7th grade girl and a 4th grade boy at Meadowbrook.
All right, thanks, Erin. I'm Stacy. I, as Erin said, co-president along with her, and I have a 4th grade boy and a 6th grade boy at Meadowbrook.
Okay, I think a lot of us kind of know each other and from being in different meetings, so no need to feel inclined. I'm going to start with the grants. Natalie needs a couple more minutes to finish up something she's doing, but she's here. She'll do her update when she's ready. So we had, Stacy, do you remember how much money we had left in our grants? We had decided to kind of do 2 cycles of PTO grants this year, and we had some money left. We had 3 grants that were just funded.
I don't remember what the exact amount was that we had left over. I know one of the grants that we did was kind of in between, whether it was a grant or a field trip. So okay, we had some discrepancy.
Okay. So the 3 that were funded recently were one for Mrs. Hetland for hand puppets and play kitchen items for her classroom. She's the enrichment for all. I don't know the exact title of her position, but it was for play, learning, and enrichment for the classes she sees. Mrs. Gleason, who's a 3-4 teacher, wanted a Generation Genius subscription. It's a website for her class to teach science. And then Olson and Juba, who are both 1-2 combo classes, wanted STEM bins for their classrooms. So we were able to fund all of those grants this round. And I believe we got really close to our budgeted amount of $4,000 for the year. So we feel really good that we were able to meet the teachers' needs and what they kind of wanted this year. Anything to add to that, Stacy?
I don't. I guess in very short, Miss Gleason had used that subscription in her classroom this year and just had so many fun things to say about it. She was very excited that she was able to use it for a 2nd year. There was lots of things that she was able to learn to then bring into her classroom. So she was very appreciative of having another year to learn and continue teaching with it.
Awesome. Thank you. Natalie, does that mean you're ready to give your update, or would you like us to go on to the Mingle and come back to you?
I would be happy to give my update. You can see my fun laundry space, but I was trying to think like what is happening, but like so much is happening, but I feel like they might have like the Mingle is happening soon, and Run Meadowbrook Run is happening soon, and the Spring Fling is happening soon. So I think most things will get highlighted tonight, but it's also budget season, just like our PTO budget tonight. So we have our first kind of draft of our school budget that we just received last week. And overall, the elementary schools enrollment across Hopkins has actually increased over the past year. And so that is really good for our budget. The Meadowbrook enrollment has really just stayed steady, and we can do that pretty easily through open enrollment. So when a family leaves, we a lot of times have a family that would like to join us. But that means for next year, we'll have a very similar budget to what we had this year, which means that our teachers and our programs largely will stay unchanged, which feels amazing given the past 2 years that we can kind of look to next year with a lot of predictability. So that is probably my number 1 update. And then I thought I could take any questions if people had questions.
I have one question about the specialists, and this just kind of popped in my head, so you may not have thought about it. Will they be able to go back to a rotating specialist, or are they going to stick with the block?
Yes, so our specialists have a desire to keep somewhat of a block, but we're going to make shorter intervals so that students are rotating through classes more frequently, and then that they'll all have access to all specials multiple times a year, and they'll be equal. So right now, some grade levels have like one class might have 2 gym and the other has 2 Spanish. Everyone next year will have the same number. So the specialists feel really good about those changes. And, you know, the reasons they talk that they like the rotation model is they really get to treat each class as a standalone class versus trying to keep up with the other classes. So when like music, he says, instead of saying, oh, I have to get every class to the same place at the end of my lesson today, he can really like ebb and flow with where the class is going or what questions they have. He doesn't feel like he has to stay at a certain pace. And they're also reporting that it's much more like a unit, and they can think of it in terms of like, here's our project for this interval, or these are our 2 projects. And as a school, we're moving more towards project-based learning, so that kind of aligns in that way.
That's good. Thank you. Are the other schools doing that too?
So out of the 6 elementary schools, I think 5 have some type of rotation and 1 is holding on to that traditional model where they have every special each week.
Erin, I had the same question, and I know my 3rd grader has, well, they said that they kind of miss out on some of them because some of them they have more. So it sounds like they're addressing that. But my 3rd grader was saying that they've been sharing gym with the kindergarten, and she's not enjoying that because they're obviously at very different physical skill levels. And so she feels like they spend more time in like review and like kind of piecing it down. And so I was just curious, I mean, obviously so many changes this year, but I was just curious if they kept with the rotation, if that would change or where that kind of fit in.
Yeah, the FIAD teachers also brought that concern forward. And that's a pretty easy change just to move. So anytime we have a double class in the gym, there'll be not that gap. So it'll be like 2 kindergartens or 2 5th grades so it just means this year we tried to keep like all K2 students with Mrs. Erdahl and then 3-6 with Mr. Tesdall, but it just means that the gym teachers will both have all grades, and they both said like not a big deal to us. So yeah.
I had another question unless somebody wanted more information on specials. So I know the MCA testing is coming in through April. And then with the 6th graders and thinking about their accelerated math programs, I believe the principals from the junior highs had said that they would do fast bridge testing. And I was wondering if that's like incorporated with the MCAs or if we're going to hear more about that. And then if it's like invitation only based on those test results or how that's going forward.
Yeah, so the fast bridge testing is actually we use it as a universal screener. So all kids take it twice a year, fall and spring. And then that's how we use one measure of growth. So yes, fast bridge testing will come. Typically it's after MCA testing, and we'll test all students.
Okay, so, and then do we wait for like an invitation or feedback? Or I know some of the parents have just been curious, like kind of what the timeline is, because we're supposed to have schedules finalized for 7th grade by last week. So I think it's just making sure that we're just kind of, staying on a line of communication if obviously those schedules are changing, or if the junior high needs to know if they need to actually staff extra rooms.
Yeah, in my experience with the junior high, those schedules are not finalized until August. And even like I had one of my children had he wasn't going to have a design class because he had it like a reading support class instead. And that change on his schedule didn't happen until August. So there will still be changes over the summer, especially when it's like out of the norm class track. So whether that's like additional support or an accelerated class, those kind of happen over the summer. The invitation piece, I'm not sure exactly what you mean. I know that teachers have given recommendations and updates about where kids are at in 6th grade in their math understanding. And then those last few test, pieces of data, I don't know about a invitation though. Like to participate in an accelerated track, do you mean?
Yeah, maybe that's not the right word. I just figured, like, I guess my concern was just trying to be optimistic and let the flow take its process, but also not wanting to get to August and then get told, oh, we didn't know we had a staff for this and now we're behind. So I'm just trying to get some sense of the timeline, or it's like to when we might feel like we have an answer.
Yeah. I can ask the junior high principals for more information and get back to you about it too.
I feel like, Colleen, when Avery went to 6th grade, it was like this summer or something, like right at the end of school. But I didn't really pay attention because I pretty much knew she'd just take regular math.
See, my son took regular math, so we didn't go through it, but I don't know, and maybe I'm not understanding, because it sounds like, sometimes kind of what I've heard is like, well, they had these extra classes, but then they didn't. And so
So what I basically learned at the meeting that I just came from was that they'll do an assessment of all the students at the end of the 6th graders at the end of this year. And if those that have been in the advanced math will go into Algebra 1 with 8th graders.
Okay.
Anybody who did regular math or is testing into regular math will do pre-algebra as a 7th grader. The advanced students will take Algebra 1. Then from there, they'll have the option of, if they do well in Algebra 1, they'll go to geometry and skip over intermediate algebra.
Okay. Because obviously all the schedules, and I'm sorry, I don't want to take too much time on this, but I know all the schedules for the 6th graders just said pre-algebra is the standard,
Yes.
but then knowing that there was change,
Yep. And I don't think that's
I've heard a couple nervous parents be like, do you think it'll change? Do you think it's going to happen? It's like, I'm being optimistic, but
And optimism is about all we have right now. Is about all that we've been given, is that they will do an assessment, and then those students that need it will be automatically moved, but there's nothing that we as parents can do.
Okay. So we'll keep track on that. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you for your
Thanks
time.
for asking.
Erin and Stacy, I think we have a question in the chat as well.
Well, thank you.
Perfect.
I missed that one. Natalie, it says, what class sizes will that net out for next year? I think with online class, my kids' classes were a bit larger this year. So I think it's in relation to class size and the online learning, kind of where we're at with that.
Yeah, I can't speak to online classes because we're still in like the open enrollment period for the virtual EDU program. But our in-person class sizes, for kindergarten, it's 25 students. And then between 1st and 6th, it averages about 27. And when we can do lower than 27 for especially 1, 2, I try really hard to do that. Our multi-age program has kind of helped us do that. But that is where the goal is and what it looks like to be.
And will it remain with 2 sections of 1, 2 multi-age and 1, 3, 4?
We are still figuring that out. We're going to be asking our families who are participating in the programs what their hopes are for next year, and that will kind of help us make those decisions. Because we also heard that some families maybe aren't sure about the program. Like in our survey data, 1/3 of them were like dissatisfied or a little bit dissatisfied. So we're not sure if all families will want to continue. So our staffing will depend on that.
Thank you.
Okay, so it's a little too early to give an update of what the positions and the staffing looks like for next year.
Yes.
All right, any other questions? All right, we'll move on then. Thank you, Natalie. We really appreciate your
Absolutely.
willingness to answer questions on the fly. I know you never know.
Never know.
Emily, are you ready to give us a Mingle update? We're so excited to hear about the Mingle.
I am. I'm going to share my screen.
Okay.
Let me just get this. Yes, it's next week, which is absolutely insane. We were just reflecting on it, how quickly it's come up. So yes, so Meadowbrook Mingle is all of next week. It is a 40,000 fundraising goal. And we have some amazing programming and donations and great gathering events coming our way. So as you can see, we are celebrating our 10th anniversary. Next week will be a week-long event. It'll again be virtual for the giving and the bidding portion of the event. We are having a live Facebook streaming event on Wednesday, April 20th at 7 p.m. We are again enlisting our amazing host, Ben, to come back and do a different type of trivia event for us. And that again will be a Facebook live streamed event next Wednesday at 7 p.m. We're hyping up a ton of things regarding that Wednesday event. We're going to have our mascot back again. We have different mascot volunteers who are going to bring a different plethora of energy to recess and pick up and drop off time to really bring people to that Wednesday event. We also want to just call out that the virtual aspect of giving will still end on Friday at 11 p.m. Even though the family streaming event that is just very family friendly, come as you are, is midweek on Wednesday. When we think about the breakdown, we have our auction items, we have our fund to need items, we have just cash giving, and then we have our great gathering. So those are really the 4 buckets of giving. And the largest 2 buckets, really the one that doesn't garner as much as just straight like cash giving, because again, it's virtual. It's not like just collecting dollars in a hat. So our fund to need items, we have a handful of really awesome fund to need items coming this year. We have funding our additional classroom furniture to really make the 2 outdoor educational spaces really functional. So last year, only about 1, and really they were split, the furniture was split between 2 locations. This year is the year to make it fully functional between the 2. We also are focusing on a staff appreciation luncheon featuring my personal favorite food truck, Butcher Salt. And so we have them secured to give the entire staff a funded luncheon on their last staff day. We also are going to update some front office furniture, and then we have a grandparent funded popcorn party. And so we have some fun things that are coming that are really focused on not only our learners, but also our staff, and saying thank you for what has been another challenging year. When we think about our auction items, so this is our second bucket. This has every single day, new things are coming in just as we're following up with personal requests and emails, but we have over 90 auction items secured. And again, those are coming in daily and we're loading those. We also, throughout the week, are going to be doing daily drops. So all auction items are not going to be up on day 1. There are going to be some really exclusive, fun, different, exciting events coming every day to really keep people's interest in like what's going to drop today. And then we also have 8 planned great gathering events. And so really when you think about the secured fund and need and great gathering, that's essentially about half of that total amount for our fundraising goal. And then we do again have these awesome fundraising milestones and rewards really for the kids. So at 5,000 raised, the kids get 20 minutes of choice time. So it's amazing in a school how 20 minutes of choice time seems like winner, winner, chicken dinner. So they get 20 minutes of choice time at $10,000. Ms. Sawatzky is going to be running in the track during recess with Mr. L cheering her on. Then at 20,000, the principals are going to be wearing costumes. We are aiming for the blow up dinosaurs where they basically can't fit through a door. So that's really our goal with the costume blow up nature of it. And then we're again going to offer that DJ at recess because it was such a massive hit and kids had so much fun. And then lastly, the principals are going to be hosting a dance off. So there's some teaser videos coming out around dancing as kind of a theme, getting involvement, using our bodies. And so if we hit our 40,000, there will be a school-wide dance off between Ms. Sawatzky and Mr. L. And so I think that those things all combined, we're hoping are going to garner a lot of interest. Again, we'll be using the same ClickBid website that we've used in prior years and was also used for the carnival. So a lot of parents already have accounts and credit cards on file. And so we're going to be utilizing that same platform this year. The other thing I'll say is, as I mentioned, we're still getting things that are coming in as our interest is being, called to the Meadowbrook Mingle. So if you have any items that you want to donate or you want to host a great gathering, by all means, there's the Gmail, the Meadowbrook SA Gmail account right there. You can mail those inquiries. And then if you are interested in helping to pass out flyers and be what we're calling our mascot escort, really just to keep the kids in order is really essentially what it is, because we learned that mascots really shouldn't talk. So we're not giving away who's in the mascot costume. So if you're interested in being a volunteer before or after school on Monday or Wednesday of next week, you can email Shauna, who is coordinating all of our volunteers for our mascot events. And I'll pause here just to see if there are any questions on the Mingle. It's going to be fun. We're super excited and have an awesome crew helping us to organize it this year. So I'll pause there if there are any questions. Ms. Sawatzky, she must have gone off video because she's like, dance off what?
Oh, she was getting ready for her 10K, so she had to go upstairs and change.
Yeah,
I really enjoy that it's Mr. Lawson cheering her on for her 10K.
I love it. He's like, I'm not going to do that, but you should do it.
We'll see. We'll see.
Exactly. We're going to get there. We're super optimistic, and we feel like we have a really good plan in place and some awesome, great gatherings and a ton of really cool, different auction items that are going to be available too.
God, when does the auction go live? Monday at 8?
On Monday at 7 a.m.
7. I'm going to set my alarm.
Yeah, set your alarm. Monday at 7. We will have the mascot present on Monday and Wednesday. And we're going to have recess time too, where the kids can really get out their wiggles with the mascot at recess time. Because it was quite distracting in a funny way if you were in a hurry when they were in the pickup line last year. Any other questions or thoughts or inquiries about the Mingle? Okay.
No.
We're super excited about next week. Can't wait. Thank you all for your support in advance. And yeah, be sure to log on and see all the fun stuff coming.
Yes. Thank you so much, Emily.
Thanks,
Thanks.
Emily. Really appreciate all your work.
Yeah.
I think next on our list, we had the spring fling. We're just going to go from fun event to fun event. So Nikki Nelson is graciously agreed to help us have an inaugural event. We're having an outdoor movie night. This is kind of replacing what was once the fall festival. So a family-friendly free event. Nikki, are you ready to give us some details?
I'm ready. I don't have a PowerPoint like
You do
Emily,
not need
so
one.
I do PowerPoints all day. I'll come next time. Yeah, so we decided when we switched the carnival to the fall, we switched another family event to the spring. Just thought something fun, hopefully outdoors, to be able to do will be an outdoor movie night. So we'll have a blow up screen. It may not be dark enough to see it completely, but we're going to have the movie start about 7:30. We're going to have the kids in school vote on which movie, so they'll be kind of a little bit more invested. And we'll have free popcorn and then some other snacks and beverages for purchase, but people are a lot, definitely can bring their own, bring lawn chairs, bring blankets to sit and watch. So something fun. I imagine it'll end up with just kids in the background playing tag as well, or I'm sure a football will be brought, and I'll be breaking up football games. So just a fun family event. working on the minutia of details right now. We'll be looking for some volunteers. I already have some that have signed up, but it should be a pretty low volunteer event. Just really bringing the community together. Any questions or anything I need to think of?
What's the date again? I'm sorry.
Yes, it is the 6th, so just a couple of weeks away.
Of
On Friday, May 6th.
Okay.
Right?
Which is the day we have off school.
What date is
Yes.
it?
Have a lovely day off and then a fun event that evening. So should be great.
Yes.
Any questions for Nikki? Perfect. Natalie, we have Run Meadowbrook Run updates, but we don't have anybody here from the group. Would you mind giving us a quick update?
Well, we have Dave. Dave is on the Run Meadowbrook Run too.
Oh, perfect.
But, yeah, plans are underway for Run Meadowbrook Run. It is May 21st and 5K begins at 8 a.m. and the 1 mile at 9 a.m. And the registration, I don't think we have a link yet, but
No, we do.
Oh, we do.
I do. She sent it
I'll
to
pop
me.
it in the chat.
Oh,
I'll pop it in
okay.
the chat.
I already got it. I beat you.
Doesn't happen often.
Yes. So get registered early and there's a price savings if you register early. Again, we're doing like the class with the greatest percentage of participation, some type of like pizza party or lunch party. I'm trying to think what other.
Is that a golden running shoe for that class?
There's not a golden running shoe, but
That should be on theme.
yeah. So yeah, we're just happy to have it back and looking forward to, I don't know, it's always just such a low key like event, maybe because it's in the morning, but looking forward to doing it again.
Yeah, you said there was a 5K and a 1 mile, right? A fun run.
Yep.
And the pricing for the 5K was the youth was 20, the adult is 25, and both a youth or an adult for the 1 mile is 15. And they also had a 10% discount for 4 or more family members. So
Yes.
I did also put the volunteer sign up in the chat as well, because they are always looking for volunteers. I didn't click on it to see what kinds of volunteers are needed, but
Most of them don't require any athletic ability.
awesome.
So yeah,
Passing out bagels at the end or something.
yes, that is one.
I can
Help
be
it.
there.
Their numbers on their shirts is one. Yeah, it's a fun opportunity to work volunteer also.
Aaron, I could see you out there with a cowbell.
Yes, that sounds good.
We'll get Mr. Lawson there cheering everybody on.
I actually have little hope to get my kid to run it with me again this year. We ran it when he was in kindergarten, and I don't think we've done it since. So I kind of feel like we need to do it again. Sounds like it. Okay, do you want to move to? Oh, Lindsay, I don't know if Brian is on or not. I kind of maybe think BJG might be Brian.
Let me go see if
he wanted to say any plugs about running sticks. We didn't ask him to, but I saw him here and it made me think of it.
Let me shout at him.
I'm gonna do no video.
Yeah, that's totally fine.
Yeah, so we are just finalizing some minor details, and we decided we wanted to try to kick it off, weather permitting, Tuesday and Thursday, the last 2 weeks of April, starting next week. And we'll have a sign up genius for the volunteers. We're getting just everything in place from the leaderboards to just some of the tactics around implementing it. And then we hope to roll it out more days in May and through the rest of the school year, providing that we just have enough volunteers. So, but I think I'm gonna try to do some balloons maybe Tuesday and Thursday and attach it to the buckets that we're giving out sticks, just kind of like draw attention and make kids aware of it. And then, if we can have something on I'm thinking Monday announcements is there's a little more just in time. I feel like Friday I'll forget, but yeah, so more to come on that. Well, like I said, we're just getting some I's dotted and T's crossed, so then we'll be ready to go. So yeah.
Fabulous. Thank you for the on the fly update. We appreciate it. I know
No problem.
we have, you know, half of the school doesn't have experience with running recess running sticks. So I'm excited to get to that you'll be there to introduce it to them and get that going again. So thank you so much.
Yeah, that's where we kind of want a little bit of a soft start, so we can kind of make sure the process works and the kids are counting their sticks and collecting. There's a, you know, just some logistical things, and the teachers have a lot going on already. So we're just trying to make sure that we're accommodating their schedule as well. So we feel like we just wanted a little bit of a softer lead time for everyone too. But
I think it's perfect to start this year and jump in full force next year. So
yeah.
Yes.
Great. Good
thinking. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Okay, well, that was the end of the fun stuff. And now I'm going to do budgets. So Erin is going to set up our screen here.
Is that the right one? Nope, that's not the right one.
That is the right one.
Can you guys see, it says expense budget at the top and a blue column on the second line? Okay.
Perfect.
Okay.
So we need to get this budget. I'm going to run through it just a quick line by line with you guys, just to kind of give you a little update on where we are at. And then we need to vote this in tonight if we all agree on it. So if there's any changes that need to be made, make note and we'll discuss those as we go. So starting with Art Adventure, we increased this by $300 from last year. Oh, sorry. To also start, our budget this year is actually our expenses are about $4,000 less than we had on our expenses last year. So we have some changes, we have some additions, but overall, that's kind of what we're looking at. So Meadowbrook increased by Art Adventure increased by $300 to meet the number of demands that we had for volunteers this year, which was so exciting. There were so many people that wanted to help with Art Adventure that our full budget went to the education of those volunteers to be the teachers in the classrooms, that we didn't have any money left over for the projects that actually happened in the classrooms. So we gave them some extra money this year to do that, and then also increased the budget for next year. The plant project in second grade is an Arboretum plant mobile that they do. So we have 150 in that. Planters for Mother's Day. This is something that second graders have done every year and that we have provided, but we're actually putting in our budget this year. So there are these cute little plastic pots that each kid decorates and then they bring home. So $125 on that. Engineering fair in third grade, the poetry residency in fourth grade, the writing residency in fifth grade. These are all items that have been there year over year. The author visit, each year Mr. Kennedy works on inviting an author to the school, and then they come in for about a week and introduce their writing process to the students. It's a really great program. So $2,000 a year for that. Any questions on arts and culture or residencies?
Would
Perfect.
that be bucket drumming, Stacy? Or are they done with that?
So bucket drumming is something that Mrs. Schultz had kind of headed up. And we are not sure if she will be back next year or not. When she does return, that will be a budget that comes back into an item that comes back into our budget for it. So that is just has a pin in it for the coming year. Thanks for asking. Need-based PTO scholarships. So this is a fund that we have here for really any scholarship that is needed within Meadowbrook. The counselors both have access to this. The teachers have access to it. So if they have a student that needs food on a time where we don't have school happening, or they notice somebody doesn't have the right snow pants or a bike helmet, or then we've got that money that's available. We increased it by $1,000 this year over what we had last year after a discussion about snacks. We removed the snack cart from the school for a variety of reasons that make sense for the school not to provide the snack cart. But with that happening, we had a number of teachers that were spending money out of pocket for snacks. So we increased it a bit to be able to include snacks for our teachers to have in their classrooms, or a budget for the teachers to be able to spend on snacks for their room. So just trying to really reduce the amount of money that our teachers are spending out of pocket. because we have such an amazing community and we don't need to do that. So our spring fling, $1,000 budget. Kindness retreat. Now this is something that hasn't happened over the last few years. It's been in our budget. But with COVID and a number of reasons, it hasn't happened. So we are keeping it in our budget. Mrs. Sawatzky wants to work along with the counselors and have a kindness retreat of some kind. It may not just be for 5th grade, it may be a school-wide thing that we move to. So we thought that that was an important enough item that we're going to keep in our budget at $2,500 for next year. Equity and inclusion. This is something we've been trying to kick off for the last couple of years. And for better or worse, it just hasn't. So we had a good number of people that expressed interest in helping with it this year. So we will be reaching out to try and find some leaders to help us build that wood into what it could be. There's such good potential there. So if you know anybody that you think would be a great leader in this area, let us know. Or if you are that person, let us know. We'd love to hear from you. But we have $1,000 in there for that. The HEF benefit, we have a $200 line item. This is one that we purchase tickets to HEF, and then it's offered to the volunteers, anybody that volunteers for Meadowbrook throughout the year to attend. 6th grade picnic, $550. We also have 5th grade picnic in our budget for next year, as they will be our 5th graders last year in the building also. So for the 1 year, we'll have 2 of those. Kindness week, we have $1,000. Recess running sticks, we have $500 in our budget for the prizes to give out as students have their miles ramp up throughout the year. So the committee will have that to use. Bingo. Okay, so bingo this year, we moved from our community event and had in-school bingo, which was the last day before winter break. It was a really great in-school event. We got lots of great feedback from teachers and also a few things that we can learn on for next year. So we'll be doing in-school bingo again, unless there is an amazing person out there that wants to step up and plan another community bingo event. That is certainly something we would be happy to put back into our world. But until we hear from that amazing individual, we'll stick with in-school bingo. We had a Jamaican exchange program this year where we had 4 teachers. We had Mrs. Nalesny, Mrs. Duffy, Stephanie Bell, and Mrs. Muir. They went to Jamaica this year and taught for a full week. And then in the coming year, they will have 4 Jamaican teachers who will be coming to Meadowbrook to teach. So really a great program. And we've just put a $350 in our budget to cover some gift bags, some welcome bags for them coming, and then also to have a small farewell lunch for them. The Mingle Fund a Need. You'll see this in here as an expense and an income, simply because it is money we bring in and then pay back out. And really that's all that there is for that. Our student directory costs us about $200 a year to host on the website. Field trips. So we budget $25 per student for field trips. So this exact number will adjust at the beginning of next school year when we have confirmation of how many students we do have, but $25 per student is what we vote on. That covers busing for all field trips for all grades throughout the year, including whichever grade each year goes to Starbase. It includes busing for them. At the beginning of each year, we give each of our teachers, each of our full-time teaching staff $150 for their classroom. And then teachers that have part-time, it reduces based on the number of hours that they teach. So $150 per teacher. Staff appreciation. We Last year we had $1,500 for staff appreciation and $500 for conference meals. So for a total of $2,000. Our conference meals are something that have always been done by our Boy Scout and Girl Scout troops. So the families would put a lot of work of their own, a lot of their own funds or food to bring meals for the teachers. They are no longer doing that, and the $500 was not cutting making meals for all of our staff during conferences. So we increased our budget to cover conference meals, and then also we'll be covering water and coffee for our staff in their lounge. Recess supplies. This has been something that has been recess and gym supplies, and it's been at $1,500 for the last few years and just hasn't been spent year over year. So we decreased that down to $500 so that we can still have recess supplies and can look into other funds as needed. But for next year, we've got the $500 in there. Any questions on any of those? I went through a couple categories there, sorry. Everybody good? Okay. PTO grants. So we have our executive board discretionary funds and our principal discretionary. Those were some things that we added in last year as things come up throughout the year, and where do we, you know, we didn't have a specific line item for them, so we couldn't cover them. An example, this week, Mrs. Cottrell has a student teacher, and Natalie, I haven't even told you about this yet. Mrs. Cottrell has a student teacher who wants to do some projects with the students, some science projects, or to see how things grow using the garden beds. And they asked for a small amount of funds to be able to do that. And we said, we've got discretionary money, so we can do that. So projects like that, where it's directly helping our students and our families, we can pull out of those funds. So $2,000 in each of those. And then our annual teacher grants. That is something that Erin had spoken about at the beginning of the meeting, where our teachers have specific requests for their classrooms. So we have $4,000 in that budget to help them throughout the year. Any prior year reimbursements as they come in. PTO admin expenses. This will be for our money, like our QuickBooks kind of version, if we need checks, stamps, anything like that for reimbursements. We lowered that down from $800 to $500 to cover what we needed. And then garden cleanup is at $250. This is one that hasn't been used again over the course of the last couple of years, but there are definitely some grounds that could use some love at Meadowbrook. So we'll keep that in there and find some people to use that budget. So our total expenses come out to $63,200. And then, as I mentioned, last year's budget was about $67,000 versus the $63,000 this year. Also wanted to mention something that we as an executive board discussed was adding, so we have a large fund in our bank account that has been, you know, on those, for those years that we have more income than what we're spending, we've got money saved up. And we would love to do some kind of a large project at Meadowbrook. So we would like to take $30,000 out of that budget to use in either an outdoor classroom area. So of all of this amazing furniture that we have purchased through the Mingle, to be able to do either some groundwork around it, or, you know, make those spaces just as comfortable as we possibly can, or do a play area improvement. Natalie, can you tell us anything more about the stage that you had mentioned?
Sure. No, I had asked about, well, so our sixth graders have been offering their suggestions for what they would like to see in the sixth grade courtyard area. And one of the things they talked about was somewhere that they could do like readers theater. And so I asked about what a like raised platform, kind of a stage, but you know, it's outdoors, so it's like a step up. And that's about $20,000. So potentially that could be, you know, something that could be used as an outdoor like theater option, and or it would just be, you know, a stable area also for an outdoor classroom. But that's one idea.
Yes.
And I did meet with Buildings and Grounds today about our playground. And so the playground cycle, the Meadowbrook Playground will be under study next year, and then we'll be making decisions on what to replace by 2024. So within the next 2 years, there'll be a big overhaul on the playground also out of like district funds. So if we do some type of play space on the playground, we'll just want to make sure that it's separate enough from the main structure that it would survive a big overhaul.
Perfect. Great. So so we would like to vote on that tonight in budgeting out the $30,000 with a to be determined what that project will be. And that is something that we will definitely work with our community next year to decide what we want to use that $30,000 for, but to have it in the budget for that. Lastly, I'll go quickly through what our income, and these are all kind of guesses for us of what we are hoping that each event will bring in as an income for us. So the carnival, this current year brought in 17,000, I think is correct. And this year we're giving them a budget of a $10,000 income. Teacher adventures that are sold at the carnival, $1,000 income. Meadowbrook Mingle, 17,000. Now I'm going to put that asterisk on there for you because this is including the fund to need. So this year they have this amazing goal of $40,000, but a portion of those will be fund to need items, which means the money comes in and it's immediately going to go back out to purchase those items. So that is not a budget number that is coming in for the PTO budget. So that's why you have those split. So I'm sure that will bring even more, but looking at a $17,000 number of direct income to the PTO budget from the Mingle of 17,000. Bingo baskets. Again, bingo baskets is an item that we have done with part of our bingo community night. If we're not having our bingo community night, we don't have any night to sell the baskets. So we wanted to keep that on there as a $1,000 income item, but hoping that we could host that at another event such as the carnival or the Mingle or something. So we're keeping our minds open to what we can do there. Matching funds and donations I'm going to do together. We are not going to have a specific donation drive where at the beginning of the year we send out letters to families and ask them for money. We have done this a few times in the past, but we kind of feel like we're just constantly asking our Meadowbrook families for money. So we want to leave it with our specific events where we're asking for money. Now, even though we did not ask for any donations specifically this year, we have still received over about $5,000 in donations from families, which is just amazing. So we keep the line item on there with the $5,000 income as donations come in, and an additional $3,000 for matching funds that people are able to get from their employers and such. So Amazon Smile and Box Tops, these are two numbers that we can greatly increase what we're making. Free money to the school, and just need to work on our communication and our marketing to our families to kind of learn how to use those. So it's Aaron's computer that is ringing. Sorry. A plant sale income of 6,000. Again, they've blown that number out of the water the last couple of years, but just trying to be good on that. So 6,000 for in plant sale. Our book fair made about 250 this year, so about the same for next year. School toolbox, which is our school supplies that we can order online at the beginning of the year, can make about 650 a year on that. Restaurant nights about 3,000, and Run Meadowbrook Run about 5,000 income. So looking at a total income of 52,600 for next year. Just to give you an update for this year, we're currently at 21,000 in income, but we still have the Mingle, the plant sale, and Run Meadowbrook Run, which are three very big fundraisers. So we'll be coming a little closer to that number. So there you go. That is our full budget for the year. And we just need a motion and a second to put this into voting. And so does anybody have questions or comments on the budget as it stands? Stop sharing so that you can, yeah, everybody can see. Nothing.
So
We
you
were
just need,
go ahead.
sorry, I was just gonna say, so you just need a motion. So like I move to approve the budget as is, or I move to approve the 30,000
I
for
think
the
you could just
outdoor
say I
project?
move to approve it as is
Yeah,
because
we'll
it
include the
includes
30,000.
that 30,000.
I move to approve the budget as is.
Fabulous.
I second.
Wonderful. Does anybody want to discuss before we vote?
So I think online it's easiest to just do the like digital raise hands if you
If you
agree,
approve.
if you approve, and I don't know, is there like a thumbs down if you don't?
And I'll just reiterate, Stacy and Aaron, that the executive committee did spend almost 2 hours
Yes.
going very detailed through this. So this is not as if this is the first time we're looking at these numbers. It's been thoughtfully considered.
Thank you, Betsy.
Wonderful. All right. And we
So
have
it looks like we had a large majority, a unanimous vote.
wonderful. All right. Thank you all. I appreciate your help sitting through that.
Yes.
Numbers are never fun.
No, but we really do appreciate that because it is important to us to have full transparency in when we ask for money, what is done with that money, and that it all is really meant to go back straight to the school and specifically the staff and students.
The
all right.
budget is a representation of your values.
Yes,
So these are the things that we value in our community.
yes.
Absolutely.
And then we have two more things. One is just our outlook for next year. So Stacy and I will both have fifth graders at Meadowbrook. It will be our third year as PTO co-presidents, and due to the grade level switching, it will be our last year at Meadowbrook. So we had the great experience of having two presidents who were still in the building. Still now to this day, we call them and ask them questions. So we're really looking next year for the 2022-2023 school year for two or more people to step up with interest in the roles of president-elect and treasurer-elect, because Dave Dutcher also has a son that will be aging out of Meadowbrook. He's in his third year doing the treasurer job. So we're looking for people that may be interested in continuing these positions in next year to be able to like do sort of a shadow in that we won't be at the building or in the events to be able to give that guidance that we really appreciated having.
Yes.
So that's a super huge need for next year. We have other needs. What?
I'm going to be the mean one.
Well, I was just going to go for it.
You're
but
gonna
you
go
go
for
be
the
the
mean.
mean one.
Okay,
I
I'm
like
going to be
being
the
mean.
mean one to say, as we are, it is our last year next year. If we don't have anybody step up in the president and the treasurer role, PTO can't happen. Both of those positions must be filled to have any event at Meadowbrook, to have our carnival, to have our mingle, to have our spring fling, to have bingo at school.
For 23-24.
For 23-24, president and a treasurer must be positions that are filled. So anybody you know, anybody you can think of that might be a good person in that position, ask them personally. I know
Or send us their name and we'll ask them.
absolutely. I know a lot of people will consider it, but nobody would step up until they are personally asked. So, so we need our whole community to come together to help us find who those next people are. There you go.
In addition to those jobs, it's all gone, Easton. Yeah, it's all gone. I'm sorry. We're looking for
Hey,
the
Aaron and
that
Stacy,
I
can I
ate
ask a
this morning.
question?
Yes, Emily, go
Aaron
ahead.
and So my question is, going back to just what we were discussing, I was wondering if maybe, because I think sometimes people don't know exactly how much the two of you do between meetings, or like, not to minimize anything, but like how much you don't have to do, right? Because I think sometimes people see it as maybe like, is this a second job? And so I was wondering if maybe there's an opportunity to have some sort of like just general office hour type discussion where, I don't know, like maybe interested people could just come and ask questions that maybe they would feel less comfortable asking on a PTO call about the roles and responsibilities that they might feel more comfortable asking like between humans on a less formal call. That's just something I was thinking about, because I know you guys have done an amazing job. And I just don't think people know exactly how much you provide and how fulfilling that can be, right?
Yeah.
So like almost you're an opportunity for testimony.
Well, I'll put it this way, Emily, this was a downgrade from being in charge of the Mingle.
Oh my God. And and maybe virtual made it so fun because we literally yeah, I mean, maybe that's part of it too, is people are like, well, I love what I'm doing, but I don't know. I just was thinking like people might just feel more comfortable asking really like open questions.
Idea. Yeah. Stacy and I are also hosting what are we going to call it? Like a volunteer appreciation event. We haven't decided where it's going to be. Current status is at my house or in my backyard, to see people, thank people, and also invite a friend, talk about it. So we could do definitely a virtual Q&A too, would be super easy. And that's a great point, Emily. Thank you.
And thank you, Katie.
Yeah, people just don't know what the hell to ask. So this would be just easier for them.
Yeah, I get it. So a couple other positions that we do definitely need for next year. We do not have anybody who's going to head up our Lost and Found. The directory is looking for a chair-elect. That person is going to be in their last year next year. The display case coordinator, we are looking for a restaurant night coordinator, online school supplies. That's kind of for the following year. The person who's did it this year is already working for next year, for this
coming school
year. So
yep, so it's a job that happens in the spring that you get ready for the next school year. So she's doing it for now to prepare for next school year, and we'll need somebody at the end of next school year, April next year.
We're always looking for graphic designers. We need somebody who would be in charge of teacher grants. As Stacy already mentioned, we're looking for an equity and inclusion chair. We will need a 6th grade picnic and a 5th grade picnic coordinator. And then if we can find a bingo person, we could have an out of school bingo event. Otherwise, we're looking for an in-school bingo coordinator, which would be a really small job, just
small job and fun because you're in school and you get to just be in the classrooms and see how much fun they're having.
So that's just kind of our plug for our needs for next year. Any other comments or questions or thoughts on that?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Can you say a little bit about the equity and inclusion chair and what does that entail?
Yeah, absolutely. So with this being a committee a committee that we haven't had a lot done with yet, it really is this, and I hope this doesn't scare you to hear, but it's this open world that we can really build it to what you see it as. We've had ideas of having community book fair or book clubs.
Study.
We can have parent groups that are meeting. Natalie, you had a lot of really.
I feel like, well, I just want to jump in real quick before
Yes.
Natalie does. I feel like when Stacy and I took on the presidency, that was something that we knew was important to the district. And we felt like we wanted to be important to us as a PTO. We didn't feel like it was something that that we could take on being in the president role. So we started that committee actually 2 years ago, and really are embarrassed to say nothing has happened. But it's our intention that the person would be kind of
or small group.
Yeah, exactly. Would be a liaison for the PTO to help with that inclusion lens, if you will. So Natalie, I didn't mean to interrupt, but go ahead and add on to that.
No, I think you're right on. I think we can look at it as someone who serves on the PTO and helps us make sure that we're thinking inclusively as we plan different events, as well as maybe there are events that are helping our community, be more inclusive or, understanding more perspectives than their own. So it could be a community book study. It could be a culture building event. It could be just making sure that as we discuss the carnival, we're thinking about equity, someone's keeping that on our brains as we make decisions and plans too. So kind of a multitude of roles.
Absolutely. So as we said, it can be as big or as little as somebody is looking for.
I feel like that was the largest group of people you had interested.
That
in
is true.
volunteers.
Of everybody of all of the interest areas, that was a place where we got so many names of people who were interested in helping out with it. So we will be calling on all of them again, but really looking for one person that can, you know, steer where that, how we get started at least, so.
Thank you all for answering my question and add me to that list.
Awesome.
Wonderful.
Thank you, Amal.
We absolutely will. Thank you.
And to
Good.
piggyback on Amal's question, is that position somebody that is a part of the executive committee of the PTO as well?
We would love to have one person of that committee on the executive board, absolutely, to attend our meetings with us and to, as we're planning events throughout the year, to really make sure we're looking at it with an equity lens. Yes, thanks, Betsy.
And those are, we have currently have 4 meetings a year for that. Like
Yep.
basically we meet about a week before the general meeting. Okay, last but not least, I'd like to plug our restaurant night at Culver's, the very popular concrete mixer, May 19th to the 13th at May 9th. Didn't I say that? Did I say 19th?
You did.
But 9th to the 13th, every mixer sold at Culver's in Golden Valley that week, $1 will be donated to the PTO.
You don't even need to mention Meadowbrook.
Just go.
Keep it easy.
And then we also have the plant sale. We didn't mention that yet, but the plant sale is on the 7th and the 8th are the pickups. And they wanted us to mention that there are volunteer needs. They have needs on Thursday and Friday. Remember Friday being a non-school day. Here's the link for the volunteer for Thursday and Friday for sorting. And then they want help with pickup on Saturday and Sunday. And there is the link for that one. Where did I go there? Do we want to say anything else, Stacey, for the good of the cause?
I was just going to say with the sorting is really just, they have all of the plants delivered on a giant truck and we just go through and help sort it into each person's order. So then when they on Saturday and Sunday are ready for order pickups, they can just say their name and we go straight to their number and load their order into their cars. They're very organized with it and have done really well. So last update, Emily Moravec, I am wondering if you would give us a quick update on the lounge, if you wouldn't mind. I know I'm putting you on the spot. And with upcoming staff appreciation.
Sure, I'll turn it there. Sure. Yeah, the lounge update was awesome. And we were so impressed with the amount of like donations and people following the registry, and it went really well. So it was super fun to go in over the spring break and just surprise the staff there and make it look a little fresher. And yeah, so that was awesome. And we have a few $100s left, and we just had a meeting and we're kind of hoping to support the staff lounge by getting coffee and, you know, some of those things, soap and those things that teachers were either bringing in or paying out of pocket for. So yeah, I think it went really well. Did anyone have any questions about the update?
No, but we got a couple of emails. I don't know if you've shared them yet.
I have
We'll
not
share with
shared.
your committee.
I'm
that
going to compile them and send them to you. So
teachers have been saying thank you.
Yes.
Betsy,
It looks so good.
Yeah, just from a, sorry.
No, it
From a
was
social, sorry, Emily, go ahead.
yeah. I was gonna say, all I said was it was a super fun project and we were happy to do it.
I just wanted to add that it was so much fun to be able to share the before and after pictures. And from a social media perspective, that was those posts were huge engagement, tons of likes, tons of loves, comments. We don't get a lot of activity on the Twitter account, but people actually liked and commented on the Twitter post even and like retweeted. I was kind of blown away, but it's because the content was so good, right? So so congratulations on that.
Many teachers would like to know who they need to talk to have them come to their own homes and do some interior design.
Awesome. I will pass that along to the group. And yeah, Appreciation Week is going to pop up here very quickly as well. So we'll let Mingle get through, and then we'll be posting some information about how to show our gratitude to the amazing staff as well that first week in May.
Now you guys have some fun things planned. That's awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're good.
Awesome.
Perfect. Thank you. Appreciate your time.
No problem.
And believe it or not, that's it. We're done. The shortest meeting of the year is the last one. So, and this is officially our last meeting of the year. And we will be joining you all again in next school year.
Yeah.
And thank you for all being here and for all of your help and your input. So, have a wonderful
Thanks, team.